What brought me to Bitcoin was the Ordinal protocol. I view the ability to inscribe on Bitcoin's blockchain as a very unique opportunity to explore many potentials that go far beyond the typical NFT narrative many are familiar with and what is currently taking place rather successfully on Ethereum and other sidechains. At least for right now, anyway. It's clear to me that most are participating with trust assumptions that expose much of their time, energy, and collectibles to vulnerabilities from multiple angles. The most relevant, of course, is the assumption that the digital images they are collecting are in fact actually stored securely on Ethereum's blockchain. I also held that same assumption before becoming more informed. Prior to taking an interest in digital art, I held some interest in crypto back when there were opportunities to acquire XRP at 3 cents a token. That's a story for another time. It wasn't until some friends who were actively trading NFTs told me about this collection called On Chain Monkey did I really begin to explore the particulars that gave me a much better understanding of the value of blockchain. I'm using the word value not in a monetary sense, but in the sense of potentially benefiting mankind if properly applied and utilized. This evolution of my understanding was due largely in part to the knowledge and experience held and shared by OCM creator Danny Yang, who has an impressive and interesting background in blockchain technology and professional settings. It was by listening closely that I gained a genuine interest and was able to soak up enough information to realize this was an ecosystem worthy of me spending time in to learn more about it, and I have done just that. The most significant thing I learned quickly was that, amongst all of the digital art being offered within the blockchain ecosystem, there was only a little more than a handful that were actually stored on an actual blockchain. This fact blew my mind, and it reminded me of historic stories I had heard about the tulip bubble. At first, I couldn't believe how many people were actively participating in this hyperactive economy that was seemingly built on vaporware and vibes. As I dug deeper, I learned quite a few things about the very special culture, which is a story for another time. One of the most relevant things I learned was that most were unaware they were only purchasing the on-chain stored identification number that simply pointed to a basic file, just like any other internet accessible image file. There were, of course, many people that knew this but didn't care, as it was often claimed that this was good for growing adoption. Personally, I got the feeling that there was really just too much potential of realized monetary value to be had, and properly educating collectors would lead to a reduction of that potential, at least in the short term. For me, recognizing the vulnerability and the security lacking state of represented validity in the majority of art in the market helped me appreciate the truly on-chain state of the OCM collection. That is a detail one should take into account during the process of due diligence regarding any team's skill, knowledge, and craftsmanship. The intentional choosing to do it right over simply doing it fast is something few understand. It is a mindset that is not commonly associated with the modern Western business model, where time is money and money is king. For me, Danny Yang's on-chain implementation provided a proof of integrity, craftsmanship, and skill. These qualities are often overlooked and generally only appreciated by those that are familiar with the dedication and discipline necessary to acquire and apply them. And from what I've observed, the tech world is no different. OCM tends to win the respect from techies and therefore has a community that is not overly consumed with the typical superficial number go up mindset, which is ideal in theory, and by existing in an energized ecosystem driven by speculative positioning that does introduce a set of unique community cohesion challenges presented by having such a diverse interwoven community. But that's a story for another day. So it was this initial proximity to big brain value that introduced me to Bitcoin by way of Ordinals and OCM. Danny introduced the notion and it just clicked and continues to click with every new proof of concept that I witness. I have been learning and bullish ever since. With Ordinals, the potential of being able to store, generate, create, and transfer data using Bitcoin is truly remarkable for people. And it's just the beginning. I am definitely not a Bitcoin maxi or a maxi of anything except life in general. Ethereum is great in its own right and has been an amazing tool for so many because of its smart contract functionality. Many things have been able to be accomplished, and the NFT ecosystem would not be where it is today without it. With that being said, I definitely am interested in increasing the level, quality, and amount of education that people obtain and retain during their onboarding and participation within the digital ecosystem. I believe education and tools is the path of growth. People don't know what they don't know, so any experience obtained knowledge is beneficially impactful when shared within reason. That is my personal belief and understanding. The more people understand, the more confidence that will be established. People need to feel secure in your house with walls, borders, and safes. We want to protect and be protected. That's part of our nature. We just want to be safe and happy. With a better understanding of basic fundamentals of blockchain and asset structures, I can see a major opportunity within the Bitcoin space to educate and onboard more people effectively than any other chain. I am aware that they may come off as me sounding like a maxi, but that's not the case at all. I just know that real Bitcoiners think differently, as do I. I'm talking about the Bitcoiners that are in it for many principles that go beyond a simple notion of money and, of course, beyond digital images. They're here for principles of freedom, decentralization, and sovereignty, what I consider to be fundamental rights. I see a lot of crypto dreamers with the sole intent to get rich by playing the cycles of musical wallets. LOL, pushing we're all going to get rich, institutional adoption, and all of these narratives that people have used for a long time to sell their bags, their concepts, and their products. Well, the truth is that those things are possible. It is possible to have great concepts and ideas be adopted by the masses. It absolutely is, but it comes in steps and it doesn't come by wishing and gambling. It comes by having a good plan, an idea that makes sense, one that is logically thought out with sound reason applied and presents a solutionary use case, a use case that significantly overshadows whatever the current model is. The only way to achieve that is by introducing genuine value and securing that value. So with Ordinals, we now are able to really secure data in multiple forms, an image, art, documents, a program, whatever it is. Now you're securing value on chain. It's safe, it's secure. That's a scalable concept that can play a significant role towards accomplishing larger adoption on the road to mass. Since the beginning of organized communities all throughout history, nothing has been more impactful than the storage and distribution of information. It is the backbone of progress. It is how we have educated and communicated. The secure transport and transferring of information, goods, and services is an industry that many overlook, even though it's the infrastructure to our entire economy. Railroad, cargo ships, planes, trucking, and the internet. We have long used writing, song, etching, printing, painting, and encoding to store information. We have long used guards, safes, locks, vaults, passwords, and cryptography to protect information. This is the next evolution at the people's fingertips. Seems pretty logical, right? Art on Bitcoin, sure, I want it. I want what I collect to be secure. Artists and creators want to be remembered forever. Some manuscripts are literally living documents and should be preserved. The Library of Alexandria, locked away and hidden in the basements, can now be upgraded by being uploaded. Digital preservation on Bitcoin is poised to soon be regarded as a sound investment because it will last. And if it lasts, it's a lot easier to retain value. And something that's able to retain value has the potential to increase in value, right? You can't increase the value of something that is not scalable or doesn't last long. This truly is just the beginning, and I haven't even touched on the topic of how bullish I am on the metaverse and AI yet. Nakamoto Matrix by blocks of Bitcoin is by far what I am most bullish on. There are a couple of other things as well, like the Bitcoin and Ethereum cross-chain tokens Quark, 20HQ, and QAI. I will have more to share on those soon.